Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, welcome in. I hope everybody had a wonderful week here in May. 'Twas the last week of May. It was a fun week for me. My final week of the month is always when I do my big monthly live auction, which I did on Thursday, the 28th. It was a very successful show. It was Women's Threads night. So a lot of my focus throughout the week went towards that and just kind of, I always take that week really slow. I barely do any listing. I take it easy, organize things, and get ready for the auction. I preload. My goodness, what's going on up here? I should have chose a hat. But thankfully, this month and last as well, I've been able to take advantage of listing while not listing. You may be wondering, what do I mean? Well, I didn't list really anything on eBay, but I have cross-list, and I had some space still to... I get 200 cross-list items a month, and I had, I think, about 20 left over, so I just filtered them through very old listings on eBay. I actually went the oldest listings I had on eBay and started filtering them in, and I just decided every month that I have leftover listings to use, I will do that and just go try to get rid of the oldest stuff. And it worked on a couple items. We'll get to that. So without listing anything, actually, I was still listing old listings from eBay onto 6 other platforms. I had a total of 17 sales this past weekend, which was pretty nice because I, like I said, listed 0 new listings. But we had 9 on eBay, 5 on Depop. Hello, Depop. Where you been? 2 on Mercari and 1 on Poshmark, and they're all low-end sales. So if you're in for big bolos, now's your time to click off. But we have some low-end to, I don't know, $15 to $20 items as well. But first up, we have a London Fog. This, unfortunately, it is vintage, and it does have the nice plaid lining, but it is size medium golf jacket. The sizing hurts that because... I don't know, some people I think that are still looking for vintage clothing maybe don't know that vintage clothing runs larger. So that medium probably fits like a large. But I do put measurements in the listings. But it only sold for $15 on eBay going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I paid $2 at an estate sale for that. I'll just keep her up here. Next, if you've been following along on the weekend sales updates, you'll know there is a repeat buyer here in Burlington, Iowa, that is buying up Lane & Lincoln's old baby clothes for cheap, and I couldn't be happier to get rid of it. So we have a nice stack. This was a 2 bundle. They got 3 short sleeve and pant pajama sets and 7 pairs of shorts, all size 24 months, for all that for $5. Out of here. Get it out of here. I decided I'm not going to list their 2T stuff, which I have 2 totes plus of, until all the 18-month and 24-month clothing is gone. So it is just tucked away in totes for now. We'll get to it eventually. Next up, Pokemon cards. Nothing crazy in here. I know Pokemon is massive, but it is a realm I have not really dove into. This was actually a consignment. My only consignment I've done of 2026 was some Pokemon cards, and what else was there with it? It was the Pokemon cards was the big winner. One of the binders sold for over $200. 50-50 consignment. I can't remember. I have a Harry Potter action figure up there somewhere. Oh, he's hiding. I think that's the last thing that I have from that consignment. I do not really do consignments, but I was also getting a big box of free stuff donation from them. So I'm happy to do consignments, especially when it has stuff like vintage Pokemon cards. Anyway, this is a bundle of 52 vintage Pokemon cards. There they all are. No first editions in this bundle and only 1 holo, and the holo is this one. Pikachu's Vacation, which is an old one. But as a bundle, it wasn't worth a lot. It sold for $19 going to New York, over on eBay. Next up, still have some CDs from that big 200 CD buyout that I did over a year ago now, or just almost a year. Because I listened to these for a while, and they didn't get listed right away like the other ones did. A couple of Nickelbacks, not worth a bunch. Few bucks here. Going to Hastings, Minnesota, over on eBay. But I did buy another eBay collection. No. I bought another CD collection at a garage sale. I was actually picking through it. It was funny. I wish I had my camera for it. And the box said $10 on it. And I was getting quite a bunch of good stuff at this sale. And I was like, oh, well, I already see a handful in there that I want for myself, so I'm just going to buy the box, right? And I said, we were adding up my stuff at the end, and it was written on the side in Sharpie. It must have been the husband's. And I said $10 for the box of CDs. And, that's what it's marked. I'm happy to pay what you're marked. And she looks over at her husband and says, $10 for the CDs. And he looks up and he says, I'll do $5. So, fine. There were easily more CDs than I got from the first one. The first one had just shy of 200. So this has got to be 250, 300 CDs that I got for $5. I haven't even looked through them or sorted them or anything yet. What a tangent. We're moving on, folks. Desperation. Stephen King hardcover books I am a sucker for because my best buy of 2024, when I was barely really reselling, I bought a collection of 35 Stephen King books for $60. And there are some real bangers in there. And now I just have a fondness for Stephen King. I got these from Poker Dude over on Dibdit.com. I got a handful of Stephen King books, each for $1 a piece. I actually got 2 of these for $1 a piece. The first one sold for $7 over on Mercari, going to Athens, Tennessee. The only thing about Mercari is it's a FedEx-only shipping, so I have to make a separate trip. Still in my hometown. It's very small, so not a huge deal, but... And I kind of like the lady that works there at the Dollar General. She's very nice. At least one of the 3 is. Anyway, finally, wrapping up Friday, we have Muffy Vanderbear. Oh, that light's harsh. I apologize. This is a puzzle, sealed puzzle, and a bear. I don't know if I really talked too much about the Muffies because they really started before my content creating. But my mother-in-law, shout out Andrea, apparently had a obsession in the 90s with Muffy Vanderbear, and I keep being surprised with how much she has, and I haven't even gotten half of it yet. But this I got recently because she gave me some spring-themed ones that she thought would sell for spring, and this is spring-themed. It's got a bunny, and it's a rain jacket, and he's ready for spring. He's got his tags, and the puzzle is sealed. Muffy Vanderbear, they do sell, not for a lot, but they traditionally sell between $10 and $20. This set sold for $19 over on Mercari, going to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And that wraps up Friday. We move into Saturday. Only 3 sales on Saturday. But you've seen these if you've been watching. Yukon Jack, I got a whole flat full of belt buckles for $20. There were just shy of 20. There were about 15 belt buckles. And I think like 7 of them were these Yukon Jacks, and a couple of them still sealed in the plastic. This one sold for $10. They have all been selling between $10 and $16 a piece. The Yukon Jacks. The other ones have been ranging between 7 and 10 as well. There is one good one from NSA. Not NASA, but NSA. Anyway, that sold for $10. I got, I think, 4 more of those. That sold on eBay going to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Next, we have a Black Cherry Mickle Design Works Black Cherry hand soap. This, my wife got it at an estate sale that I didn't go to because I slept in. She went with her friend and did some picking for me. I didn't look at pictures. She was all on her own. And she looked up one of the hand soaps. They're asking $5 a piece at this estate sale. At an estate sale that is actually quite fairly priced with, the vast majority of their items. She knew this, so she looked into a couple, and there are some, and she did grab, I think, 3 that are worth $20 to $25 a piece. The other ones range. This one sold for $14 on eBay going to Nicholasville, Kentucky. I actually only have 3 hand soaps left of the 7 that she bought. And then finally, on Saturday, our last sale was on Depop. It's a teaching apron. It's a vintage teaching apron. I just sold an item on Depop, folks. I wonder if I can, I can pull it up over here and see what we sold. We can add another thing, an 18th thing. Depop is going ridiculous. Anyway, Teaching Apron. Got it for $1 in an estate sale. It was kind of tucked away when I was getting ready to list, and I would have thrown this in the wash because there are 2 spots that I did show in the description or in the listing that have discoloration that I really think would have just came out if I washed it. But it came time to list it, and I just listed it. Sold for $7 on Depop. Next up, we blue skidoo weekend 2 right into Sunday. We'll see. This was kind of the lower end sales, big time. Quick and Dad DVD listed around a year. This one took a long time. This was back when I used to buy DVDs for $1 if they were sealed. I no longer do that. I will still buy them if they're a quarter. I'll pay up to 50 cents if it's a desirable title. Or maybe if it's a show's DVD set, I'll pay $1. But only if they're sealed. Because I paid $1 for this, and it was sat for a year and sold for $3, and it's going to Sun City, Arizona. And that's another example of why I don't really buy DVDs that much, unless they're super cheap, super cheap. Aeropostale shorts are next. Shout out Papa Mike for cleaning out his closet last winter. These sold for $10 on eBay. Going to Cheyenne, Wyoming. No, they're going to Beaumont, Texas. I apologize. Next, I had that big women's clothing show last Thursday. In anticipation for that, my wife cleaned out her closet, and we did well on some of her items, everything that didn't sell, and some things before the auction as well, because I had some free time. Got listed, which included these. It is a bundle of 5 pairs of women's leggings, all size small. Happy to just get rid of them. None of them are really any desirable brands, just kind of standard fare. They sold for $10 over on Poshmark. Then I got this as a giveaway over on Whatnot. Shout out Rad Picker for this. I don't really have any interest in keeping him, so I listed it, and it sold for a couple bucks on Depop. I mentioned earlier I transferred my oldest eBay listings over to the other marketplaces, and that includes this, which is taking the win for the longest listed item of the weekend and nearly my longest listed item, period, because this I listed in summer of 2024. Yes, just shy of 2 years. And I used to have eBay where it lowered it by $1 every month. This went all the way down to $3, and still nobody wanted it. It needs a battery. That's why it's not a great brand watch, and it needs a battery. But 2 years ago, I felt it was worth a list. Sold on Depop within days of listing on Depop when it's been sitting around on eBay for that long. And finally, another one of the items that has been listed for well over a year that got cross-listed when I was doing that, and that is this. This is a TaylorMade 9.5 degree loft. This comes with the story of last year's garage sales, me wanting to get into selling golf clubs, because the year beforehand I was seeing golf clubs all over the place, and I was too scared to ship them and all that, and I was just like, no, I don't want to really get into that. And then last year I said, you know what, before garage sales season even started, I want to practice shipping and getting used to golf clubs, so I picked up a couple, and I ended up keeping the other ones. This one I listed, and it sat again for over a year, and I never saw any more golf clubs that year to buy, nor this year so far. $7. I waited over a year for this to sell. It's been sitting in the closet. Lincoln grabs it almost every time he's down here. And you just forget that it's even listed at that point. And it got cross-listed and sold for a low amount of money. So now I get to practice shipping golf clubs. Let's see what just sold while I was making this video. Sold something else on Depop. Where is Depop coming from, folks? Depop was the site that I went, the only one, it was the last one to have a sale on it, a month and a half of me listing, taking to get up to a store of 200 items. All right, what did we just sell? Another one of the items that got, oh wait, That's a like. Where's the ship? Oh, it was just a late notification? Because there's no new sales. I'm sorry to get a bluish hue going on there for you, but that's it. Low dollar sales, but lots of Depop. That's interesting, and I just like shooting the breeze with you guys once a week, even if I don't have any bolos to bring. What was your favorite sale this week? Hand soap's fun. That's not something I would ever really get into, but you know what? When you find hand soaps that sell between 20 and 25, you just jump on it. And even that, even 15 is pretty good. 14, whatever it was. Teaching apron, I like that. The golf jacket, if it was larger, I would have kept. That's about it. I hope you guys have a lovely week. And catch me next month. June 25th is going to be the next live auction. It is going to be on Dibdit, and it is going to be Pop Culture Palooza. It's going to be a good time. Let's see you then.